Overwatch launched in May 2016. Retired and disavowed superheroes, frustrated at the rise of supervillains and other calamities, reunite to save the world. At least, that's the premise. The actual game is a multiplayer, first-person team shooter. I try to not buy games right away. I wait until they've settled in the market and formed a clear player culture. I want the game to prove itself before I decide to join. With Overwatch, I actually only heard good things, and the review and gameplay videos showed me a bright, vivid world with lifelike characters and colorful locales. So, a year after its launch, I in good confidence purchased the game. In a Wendy's. Then, the madness ensued. I was hooked. Once I started playing Overwatch, I dropped all the other games from that time. I built up a Steam backlog. This was what I wanted to do. It was an artistic, fast-paced anarchy, a riot of colors and characters and super abilities. And then the seasonal events, flashback stories, Lucio Ball, Chunkenstein's Revenge, snowball fights. Each brought new game modes and more glorious madness. And there is something so satisfying about hearing the words, quintuple kill. First-person team shooters are not a new concept, but Overwatch is genuinely unique. At a gaming con, I heard the Roadhog VA Josh Petersdorf say that modern games are too dark and brooding, and that in Overwatch, we wanted to make a world worth fighting for. There's a hopeful, almost cheerful air to the hero characters. They're happy to be there, working for a cause worth fighting for. And then the intriguing lore. A singularity event, robots became sentient, an omnic crisis and global war. There's a heck of a story there, and not enough of it. Overwatch was my life from mid-2017 until early 2020. If some of this footage looks old, that's because it is. I quit Overwatch about a year ago. After playing for years, I realized that there isn't much variety. There are new skins and cosmetics often, and the occasional new character and map. The gameplay itself is rather static. 12 heroes and villains square off in a small arena, fighting over an objective. That can only hold my attention for so long. And the annual special events are fun, but they repeat annually. And I felt like each new character would break the game for a few weeks. Brigitte would be the best example from my experience. In an arcade match, I was on a team of all divas. I know that's not a great team composition, but hear me out. One Brigitte held off my entire team. It wasn't because that player was more skilled, it was that the character was too powerful. Now, we also didn't know Brigitte's weaknesses yet, but the point stands that new characters with new powers upset the balance, and balance is critical in a multiplayer arena game. Then there's that some maps just aren't fun. In my play, that was chiefly Paris and Hollywood. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt like the game was never fair on these maps. I could probably do an analysis on the layout of these maps to get scientific reasons, but the summary result was, they just didn't feel fun. And then for the storyline, many questions remain unanswered despite the game's age. Do the Overwatch heroes win? Were the Omnics justified in the first place? Whose side is Bastion on? Some stuff is likely revealed in comics, but what about my in-game experience? The lack of story is a limitation of building a multiplayer arena shooter. There isn't a space for an in-game plot, like we would have gotten from a single-player, story-driven game. Lastly, Overwatch suffers from the multiplayer problem. It requires multiple players. Without a friend group, I was playing it alone, teamed up with 11 strangers each match. Sure, I could find a team organically using the team finder function in-game. Then we all make a Discord group, assign DPS, tank, heals roles, schedule time slots to play together, and kumbaya. That would be a great experience, and I know it's possible to achieve. But that takes a time commitment that I don't have time for. These are not major complaints. This is not a criticism video, it's just my story. I love this game. All I'm saying is that I had my fun. I spent years playing and certainly got my money's worth. Then I uninstalled a year ago, and I never looked back. Well... maybe I should give this game another chance. In all seriousness, my Overwatch story isn't finished. Playing my clips was a nostalgia trip, and recording this new gameplay footage reminded me of all the fun I had. So while I quit Overwatch once, that doesn't mean I gave up on it. Besides, we'll have to see what Overwatch 2 brings to the table.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Nothing's gonna stop.